People like these, who say the Apollo missions were faked, seem to feel that the absence of stars in photographs is still a good argument. It was one of the first, anyway, proposed by Bill Kaysing, the father of all this moon landing hoax nonsense. He says this is perhaps the strongest evidence against NASA, showing that the entire Apollo program was a lie. Even those who have been told why there are no stars in photographs persist in the argument. Hoax advocates claim that pictures like this one of the Earth were cropped and masked to hide stars. Cameras' exposure times and apertures have to be set properly for the subject. People generally don't seem to realize how faint stars actually are compared to other sunlit or artificially lit objects we see. To see stars in photos from the moon would mean having to overexpose the subjects of their photographs so badly that they would be a featureless white blur. These photographs taken from Earth orbit are only a small fraction of the ones anyone may view from the NASA archives. I have not found one yet which shows stars along with lit objects. Even this small object at that distance reflects enough light to keep stars from showing up. Die-hard conspiracy theorists say NASA altered all these thousands of photos to get rid of stars. Apparently, they have not figured out how NASA masks out stars during live video feeds from the space station and shuttle. Go to NASA TV and watch hours of video from space, and you will see no stars. Of course, conspiracy buffs would have you believe NASA altered all the photos taken with probes to other planets and moons too. So let's look at some pictures taken from many different sources. You can find page after page of them by Googling moon photo. In these photos, the moon is 240,000 miles away and takes up only a half a degree of the sky, and yet in none of them do you see stars. These are all telescopic, but stars should still appear if the exposure was set for them instead of for the moon. Here's one that is somewhat overexposed, and it still doesn't show stars. The fact that these are taken from Earth is irrelevant. A clear sky reduces the light from celestial objects by a very small amount. Kaysing incorrectly believes that stars will appear much brighter in space. My video camera doesn't pick up stars at all, even with no other light in the field, but this demonstration using snow should illustrate the point. The video camera has an automatic exposure control which adjusts to the total amount of light in the field. When I hold a piece of paper up and shine a flashlight on it from about 2 feet away, the snow disappears. Even the much brighter lights in the distance fade out. This same principle applies when taking photographs in space. Remember, the snowflakes are lit by a nearby street lamp and considerably brighter than stars. The paper, on the other hand, is not as bright as the sunlit surface of the moon. Our eyes do much the same thing as this camera, which is why the astronauts did not notice stars. We are just not aware of the adjustment our eyes make. These pictures are real. What a shame this achievement is being trashed by utterly unqualified conspiracy nuts and media opportunists. To be fair, I have found non-composite photos which show the moon and stars in the same field. Notice how this image of the moon is very overexposed on the lit side, and the earthshine, though barely visible to the naked eye, is quite bright here. Here are 2 other pictures of the moon which barely show stars, but these are during a lunar eclipse. Again, the moon was very dark and overexposed for the picture, which allowed a few of the brighter stars to show up. All the other arguments of the hoax believers have been just as solidly debunked as this one. For those who push that nonsense, I guess it's more a matter of ego and conceit than it is of knowledge and intellect, because, folks, You don't have to be a rocket scientist to understand this. Of course, Soviet rocket scientists would have jumped on this 40 years ago, if there was any validity to it, wouldn't they? Oh, that's right. Kaysing said they had a secret deal with us because they were faking their space program too. But then, Kaysing also said that President Roosevelt and Winston Churchill planned the attack on Pearl Harbor and paid the Japanese to do it. So much for credibility.